Do we all know what a testimony is? Well, testimonies basically is like when you go to court and you have to testify on what you saw, what you heard. Well, every believer has a testimony. Anybody who's come to know the Lord testifies of what brought them to the Lord. Some people think it has to be this great thing that happened, but basically you're telling the people that what you experienced that brought you to the Lord. The first time I gave my testimony, I was kind of nervous. I wrote it down, make sure I read it right, and now I give it all the time. What's your testimony? Well, let me tell you mine. A lot of people think that your testimony started right before you came to know the Lord, but actually the Lord's been calling you all your life. When I was a small child, second grade, I had some intestinal viral infection, put me in the hospital in a coma. I almost died, my mom said. And in order to thank God, my mom being a Catholic said, okay, we have to give God some flowers. So we'll go back to the church over here in Fresno. We were living in Santa Ana at the time. And my grandma, who was a very religious person, and I do mean religious, she said, okay, we're going to get on our knees. We're going to pray the rosary. She prayed the rosary. You're going to carry the basket of flowers up to the front of the church. So I'm carrying the basket of flowers. She's praying the rosary, and I'm looking at a crucifix, a large cross. Well, this is a cross. The crucifix has Jesus on it. So I'm looking at that, walking up there, and I'm thankful that I'm alive. As we're walking up there on our knees, my grandma makes an immediate right and goes to a saint right there and has me drop the flowers off there. I was not happy about that. And I asked my mom, did you know we were going to do this? She goes, no, I didn't know she was going to do that, because she was going to thank the Lord. Moving ahead, I saw the King of Kings when I was a little kid, and when they crucified Jesus, I cried. And I asked my mom, is it okay? She goes, yes, it's very good that you're crying. The Lord's calling me. When I was in high school, ran into an old junior high friend of mine who was a real jerk, really, when he went in junior high. In high school, and I met him again as a junior. His parents were missionaries, which I did not know. But he came to know the Lord. Somewhere between the 9th grade and the 11th grade, he came to know the Lord, and he was a real believer. And I hung around him and talked to him, and he gave me an album. We all remember what an album is. 33. It was on the book of Revelation. This guy spoke, and I listened to it like 3 times. I was like, wow. So the Lord's still calling me. I got married. My wife is a Baptist. I was Catholic. Good wife, good young wife. We went to a Catholic church. I was not satisfied. So we decided we were going to look for a church. So we started looking for churches. I went to a Seventh-day Adventist. Didn't like it. Never went to Jehovah's Witnesses. They didn't do anything for me. Well, we bought a house. And I asked the Lord, Lord, give me a church where I can know you and learn about you and teach about you. A small church, I asked. Well, I got hired on finally permanent with the ag department, and I was ecstatic. A little while later, some guy comes knocking on the door. Hey, we're starting a church over there. Would you like to come? I go, yes. Well, nowadays you tell somebody you invite them to church, they say yes just to get you out of the way, right? Well, I'm a man of my word. So I went. And I listened to this Baptist preacher preach on the book of, oh my goodness, Philippians. And I was like, wow, I've never heard anybody talk this way. And through the whole book of Philippians, I'm writing notes in my Bible, because that's what I do. And I came to know that I needed to know who Jesus was. And one day, when I was coming home from work, we've been working there permanent, maybe not even a year, going northbound on the 99, about to go under the Clinton overpass, very specific here, and I'm saying, wow, I got the job I'm going to retire in, I got a beautiful wife, I got a beautiful daughter, I got a brand new house. Why am I not happy? Why does my life still feel empty? I'm asking myself this. And then I heard it. You don't have me. I knew exactly what he meant. And I said, okay, Lord, I want you. I want you in my life. That's it. It wasn't the typical sinner's prayer where, Lord, come into my life, save me, come into my heart, and all that. No, I just said, Lord, I need you in my life. And from that moment on, I changed. And I started teaching 2s and 3s within 6 months of that. And I've been teaching ever since then. So a lot of people think you have to make this great big old sinner's prayer. You don't have to do that. And your testimony is the events that lead up to you coming to know who the Lord is. Somebody had asked in our church, can we give testimonies like Bobby did up there so we can know where everybody came from? So we talked about it and the pastor said yes. So about once a month, we'd like to have one of you come up and give your testimony. About 5 minutes. I tend to talk a little bit long. I'll be watching the clock when you guys are up here. But that's what we're going to be doing. Find out that everybody has a testimony. And this is what you can tell people to come to know. It says, be prepared to give them a reason for the hope that you have in you. That's mine. That's my testimony. And we look forward to hearing from everybody else through the coming months. Don't sweat it. Some of you will, but you shouldn't. It's something that should be part of you. It should be natural. Thank you.